A lead editor and writer for the Warhammer community site, the official Warhammer community site, and thus a paid employee of Games Workshop and Warhammer, has been caught on social media celebrating the political assassination of Charlie Kirk, amongst other things calling him a fascist, and that he has zero sympathy for his death. This is, again, an official Games Workshop employee, one that has also allegedly, routinely and repeatedly espoused such beliefs within Games Workshop itself, even going so far as having allegedly harassed other members of Games Workshop staff in an attempt to get them to quit or to replace them with further people of his own side. Now, I will point out here and stress the information I'm about to share with you comes from an anonymous source. They have corroborated their allegations to my satisfaction with various communications that I will not be showing here for fear of revealing the source, but this does mean that I cannot be 100% certain. Do bear this in mind, but from what I have seen, it does look like a very credible allegation. So, with that in mind, we have here Tom Mendelsohn, who has a Charlie Kirk quote. Now, this quote is of course to say that even if there are indeed occasional tragedies, that does not mean that we should ban a thing that causes them simply because something bad happened. Guess if we were to do that, we would have to ban literally everything. And one person in the Facebook group here even points that out. Kirk's argument was that gun deaths wasn't that gun deaths are good, but that the existence of tragic outcomes doesn't automatically justify banning fundamental rights as he perceives them. Well put. To which Tom says, I don't give a single shit. He is a fascist, can't even say that word on a YouTube, carrying enormous amounts of water for a side that has no compunction committing structural and systemical political violence against the working class and the people of Gaza. Ah yes, because that's definitely something that Charlie Kirk argued for frequently. Structural violence against the working class. Tom Mendelsohn again, I will afford him the dignity he afforded his very many targets. Fucking zero. How many fucking rights of others has he attempted to ban? None, to my knowledge. He then went on to celebrate 9/11, just to point out that he is a very classy individual right here, absolutely so. He also goes on, of course, to call Charlie Kirk an immeasurable piece of shit, where the piece is infinite. Very classy. Very goddamn classy there. And not at all a wonderful example of the stochastic terrorism that caused the political assassination in the first place. Now, Tom Mendelsohn, I found a LinkedIn profile here, which I was also provided by the anonymous source, Tom Mendelsohn, a copywriter and editor with 16 years under my belt in commercial content writing and strategy and execution, editor in marketing content at Warhammer and Games Workshop Group PLC right there. I've also managed to find a Facebook page, which yet again appears to be the same person, where he describes his current form of employment as content editor. So again, this does seem to be the same person, bearing in mind the possibility of there being multiple Tom Mendelsohns like this. But again, I've also been given correspondences with the individual that seems to demonstrate that he holds very left-wing views that he is more than happy to espouse within Games Workshop. It is further also alleged that he is the writer behind the Imperium is driven by hate, Warhammer is not post, which has been routinely ripped apart by myself and countless others for being an absolute nonsensical article that is written from an exclusively left-wing point of view, where the Imperium is bad simply for wishing to not be killed by alien races. He has also been alleged of being behind the tweet doubling down on female custodies. This is the first of the 10,000 we created that have always been female custodies. I have also seen evidence of him allegedly attacking and harassing other Games Workshop members in an effort to try and get them fired and presumably replaced with other people of his ideology. I have seen him attack myself as well, which I'm hardly surprised. I am literally Satan to these people. And they have no compunctions whatsoever at all, at any point, at any level, for speaking their minds, for attempting to push their own ideologies as hard as they can, wherever they can. These are individuals who do not give a shit about anything about Warhammer 40,000, as this lengthy piece incredibly well demonstrated, as the female custodies well demonstrated. Apparently, again allegedly as well, he has been engaging within this behavior within Games Workshop for a very long time and very blatantly and obviously. So, will Games Workshop stand behind their employee here? They have already done so in the past. They have already improved of his ideas. They've already backed up the idea that law doesn't matter anymore, that politics is what matters, which is exactly what this entire spree is. Our politics is more important than the world of Warhammer 40,000. A point that we've seen repeated ad infinitum from Games Workshop with other things like the statement that Warhammer is for everyone, for example. The repeated efforts of Games Workshop to actively antagonize and seemingly get rid of their audience and replace them with, presumably, the wider audience, like so many other companies. And I want to make very clear as well, it is language exactly like this that is the form of stochastic terrorism that led to the assassination of Charlie Kirk to begin with. It comes from people dehumanizing the opposition, of declaring them to be the worst villains imaginable, to creating an environment where you are fascist, Nazi, 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 they're coming for your rights, they're going to destroy you, they're targeting you and you and you and you. It is creating an echo chamber centered around fear and hatred. It is everything and many, many times more what they accused the right of doing. These are the areas in which young men, like the assassin of Charlie Kirk, are radicalized to becoming murderers. This speech has now for the last week been proven and again from game studios and entertainment entities to not be acceptable, as there have been many firings in companies where heinous shit like this has come to light. I call upon Games Workshop to carry out their own investigation. If indeed there is a history of Tom Mendelsohn within Games Workshop exposing these ideas, then he is almost certainly the one behind this. He should be fired immediately, if for no other reason than to demonstrate to the audience that, as you yourself say, perhaps Warhammer is not driven by hatred, as in you, Warhammer the brand, as in Games Workshop, the actual company, to be kept entirely separate from the bloody universe in question. This is your reasoning, Games Workshop, and if you are to not take any action here, it simply proves what we've been saying all along. You yourself are complicit in this, Games Workshop. Congratulations. You are finally reaping what you have sown. I was, for the longest time, a proponent of near absolute free speech. That cancel culture should not be continued. I argued against it for years and years. Every one of my arguments, every one around me's arguments, the entire movement that is now becoming the right and the enormous tent that it has become, has argued against cancel culture, against any sort of encroachment upon free speech. Every warning has been ignored. Things have only gotten worse. We are now seeing actual political violence resulting from the stochastic terrorism of individuals just like this. As I have said in a previous video, our virtues can no longer be these people's shield. There must be consequences, Games Workshop. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.